The cameras weren't on the scoreboard. They weren't on the coaching staff. And for a moment, they weren't even focused on the game. They kept cutting back to one thing: Caitlin Clark sitting on the bench. A packed arena, thousands of fans. And one expectation: watching the most talked about player in women's basketball take over again. But instead, the conversation shifted instantly. Why was she not on the floor? Within seconds, social media started exploding. Some fans called it a smart decision from the coaching staff to manage her minutes. Others questioned the rotations completely, asking if the Indiana Fever were holding back their biggest star. And slowly, the debate stopped being about one substitution or one quarter. It became something much bigger. A question about control, trust, and whether the team is truly maximizing the player who changed the entire attention of women's basketball. Because once Caitlin Clark becomes part of the conversation, nothing stays simple anymore. And there she was, sitting on the bench, watching the game unfold. Without her, no injury drama, no headline-worthy incident. Just a normal moment that somehow turned into a national discussion, because this is Caitlin Clark, and nothing about her is ever just normal anymore. Every time she steps on the floor, the entire energy of the arena shifts. Every possession feels like it has meaning. Every shot feels like it could go viral in seconds. And every decision made by the coaching staff suddenly becomes something fans analyze in real time. But in this moment, she wasn't on the floor. And that's what changed everything. The crowd still had energy. The game was still going. But a portion of attention kept drifting back to one place: the bench. That's where she was sitting. And the more she stayed there, the louder the questions became. At first, it was simple confusion. Why is she out? Is she okay? Is this planned? But confusion never stays simple for long in modern sports, because now every game is connected to millions of opinions online. The moment fans noticed her extended time off the floor, social media reacted instantly. Some people defended it immediately. They pointed out the reality of professional basketball: the long season, the physical pressure, the need for rest, and the importance of managing a young star's workload properly. And that argument is valid. Basketball at this level is not easy. It's not just about talent, it's about endurance. Every game is physical. Every travel schedule is exhausting. Every possession adds strain. And over a full season, managing fatigue is not just smart, it's necessary. That's where the coaching staff comes. And their job is not just to win one game. Their job is to think long term. But while that side of the argument focused on structure and planning, another side of the conversation was building momentum somewhere else, because many fans saw something different entirely. They didn't see rest. They saw rhythm being interrupted. They saw momentum being broken. And more importantly, they saw a player who changes the entire flow of the game every time she steps on the court. Because when Caitlin Clark plays, the game feels different. The pace increases. Defenses adjust. Teammates move with more confidence. And the crowd becomes more engaged. It's not just about scoring points. It's about energy, and energy in sports is everything. So when she sits for longer stretches, that energy doesn't just pause, it drops. And that drop is what fans feel. That's why the reaction was so strong, because people aren't just watching stats anymore. They are watching momentum. And momentum is something you can feel even if you don't understand basketball deeply. That's where the debate really started to split. One group said the coaching staff is being responsible. The other group said they are being too cautious. And both sides were reacting to the same situation, but interpreting it completely differently. And this is where Caitlin Clark becomes different from almost every other player in the league, because she is not just a player, she is a visibility engine for the sport. Before she arrived in the WNBA, women's basketball was already growing. The foundation was strong. The talent was always there. The league had stars who were building it for years. But what changed was the scale of attention. When Clark entered the league, everything accelerated, television ratings increased, arena attendance went up. And suddenly, games that once existed in niche sports coverage were now being discussed in mainstream sports media, and that shift matters. Because attention changes everything in sports. It changes expectations. It changes pressure, and it changes how every decision is judged. Now the Indiana Fever are operating in that environment. They are not just managing a team anymore, they are managing a spotlight that follows every move. Every substitution is analyzed. Every rotation is discussed. Every coaching decision is debated within minutes. And in the middle of that spotlight sits Caitlin Clark, a player who doesn't just affect games, but affects the entire conversation around the game. That's why her minutes matter so much to fans, because when she is on the floor, the entire league feels more alive. And when she is off the floor, people notice the absence immediately, and that creates pressure on everyone involved. The coaching staff has to think about health, development, and long-term success. But fans are thinking about entertainment, momentum, and immediate impact. On those two perspectives don't always match. That's where the tension comes from, because there is no perfect solution that satisfies both sides. If she plays more minutes, you risk fatigue concerns. If she plays fewer minutes, you risk losing rhythm and fan frustration. And either way, someone will question the decision. That's the reality of managing a superstar in modern sports. But with Caitlin Clark, the stakes feel even higher, because she is not just any superstar. She is one of the few players who can shift attention across an entire league when she has a big game. Clips spread everywhere. When she hits a deep shot, it becomes instant highlight material. And when she sits on the bench, the discussion doesn't stop, actually increases. Think about that for a moment. Most players influence the scoreboard. Very few influence the conversation, and she influences both. That's why every decision around her becomes amplified. Even small rotation choices feel big. Even normal rest decisions feel controversial. Even standard coaching decisions turn into talking points. And that is exactly what the Indiana Fever are dealing with right now, a team trying to find balance between development and performance while being watched more closely than almost any other team in the league. And that balance is not easy, because every game carries expectations now. Fans don't just want wins, they want progress. They want dominance. They want growth. And they want to see their superstar fully involved at the same time. The organization has to think beyond emotion. They have to think long term. They have to think about the entire season, and they have to protect the future of their franchise player. So the decisions they make are never simple, and the reactions they receive are never small. That's why this situation keeps repeating itself. Not because something is wrong, but because everything is being watched at a higher level now. And as long as Caitlin Clark is part of the equation, that spotlight is not going anywhere, because she has already changed something fundamental about the sport. She didn't just bring attention to games, she brought attention to everything around the games. And that's why this conversation will continue. Game after game, moment after moment, decision after decision, until eventually a bigger picture starts to form. One that shows how a single player can shift not just a team, but an entire league. Now I want to hear your opinion on this situation. Do you think the Indiana Fever are making the right long-term decisions by carefully managing Caitlin Clark's minutes and protecting her through the season? Or do you believe she should be playing heavier minutes and given more freedom to control the flow of games when she is clearly the most impactful player on the court? Is this rotation strategy helping build a stronger future for the franchise? Or is it slowing down the momentum of one of the most influential young stars in basketball today? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this debate is not slowing down anytime soon, and fans on both sides are standing firm in their opinions. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss future basketball stories, WNBA analysis, and trending sports updates like this.